And Alistair all being banned out extremely quickly here by Fnatic and OP. Fnatic just does not want to deal with that Jarvan again. That was wrecking them last game.
Yep, a little bit of deliberation on the final ban. It is going to actually be a Nivea. So something that they've probably had a lot of negative experience playing against, maybe playing against Zenix Storm a lot in scrims and getting owned by a Nivea in mid. Yeah. So want to make sure that Fnatic doesn't have that option.
Well, I mean, Fnatic was telling me that they actually have been scrimming against Storm in preparation for this match, as well as CLG and EM Fire. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, they just really don't want that Anivia, even though we haven't seen Xpeke play that in this tournament. They just do not want to deal with that, possibly because of the team comp they're going to run. They don't want to have to deal with the crystallized wall or anything along those lines. Yeah, well, I guess Jarvan was banned at this point, but before Jarvan gets banned, having a Nivea on the other team could be very, very detrimental, because if you use Cataclysm and then a bunch of your champions are in that zone, then Nivea could just ult in the same area doing a ton of damage back to you, which can kind of turn your ultimate against itself. So Fnatic actually going to be able to pick up Janna here as the first pick, what OP had earlier as well. But now, Ashe and Sona. Are we going to have a complete reverse, or almost a reverse of the champions here? Maybe Team OP is going to say, hey, you didn't play these champions right, let's show you how it's done. If Fnatic picks up Corki, then we'll have a complete reversal. Alistair banned this time by OP, so this time OP banning out that other very common champion for the support role. Lamia and Melisson doing a decent job in the bottom lane against Team OP. So that wasn't really where Fnatic was having the issue. If they could pick a champion that they're comfortable with once again, then that's going to keep it relatively even in the bottom lane. Where they really had problems was the roaming. We had mid roaming, they had the jungle going in, a lot of 2v1 and 3v1 ganks very early on for Team OP, and that's where, you know, Xpeke was able to die a lot early. We had Shushe die once early as well, just because they got caught off guard with these ganks going on, and we didn't have nearly as much ganking going on from Cyanide. So anyway, got picked up, as well as that Nocturne again on Team Fnatic. Yeah, Cyanide really likes to use Nocturne. A lot of really cool plays from him, able to get that Baron steal at the end of the last game. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to bring the game back in their favor, but also able to turn ganks against the other team if positioned properly, and there's good ward coverage against it. But Nolja might be grabbing Udyr once again. Maybe not. Maybe Nautilus. That would be cool. It looks like Asher's going to go ahead and pick up. Of course, he's not going to be playing him, but the Kennen pick for Team OP, and that will take away Shushe's, well, the champion that we were talking about before. He's been playing a lot this tournament. Of course, Wukong would still be open if he wants to try for Wukong again. Yep. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that Fnatic didn't go for Kennen a little bit earlier if they actually wanted Shushe to play him. Yeah. Team OP hasn't really been known to really favor Nocturne, so most likely that champion would have been left available for the final two picks. Well, the other thing, I guess, is that the Korean teams have been studying the non-Korean teams and learning how to counter what they do, and so they might have said, all right, you know what, we've been playing Kennen all this tournament, we need to change it up, otherwise OP is going to figure out how to counter it, and we're going to have Rumble on top, and probably Morgana mid. Morgana very, very strong, but that means that Paragon, Team OP can pick. I don't know if Caston would be a good choice. They're going to go with Caston again, though. All right, excellent. And that is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting battle in the middle. Morgana with a lot more pushing power, and I mean, Cassidon is very, very strong, but if Morgana gets up her spell shield before he can get the silence off, then it's over for Cassidon. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, and Corn Salad might be grabbing Cassidon, not so much for the mid lane, but once again to do a lot of roaming once he gets up to level 6 and higher, like we saw last game. So choosing the champions, especially for these Korean teams, they're not really picking champions 100% to win their lane, but something that will synergize with the rest of the team. You're going for a team comp instead of a lane counter. Very good point. And that comes out a lot when you're practicing with the same team over and over and over again. You work more on the holistic picture, not so much in just being an individual winner, and then just having 5 individual winners on the same team equals a victory. That's not exactly the Korean mentality. That's a very, very good point. So we're going to have Kennen versus Rumble on the top. Shushe knows very well what Kennen is capable of, so he's actually going to be able to lane against Kennen pretty well as a result. Or maybe he thinks that he's overpowered, is already going to be crushed before he even starts the game. Nautilus and Nocturne in the jungle. This time, instead of Udyr, who I used to pronounce Udyr, in the jungle, they're going to have Nautilus, who's a little bit slower jungler, but has some insane ganking ability. A lot of disables rather, on Nautilus. Nocturne has his fear, though, of course, as well. In the middle, Kassadin versus Morgana. This is going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, and we saw that even with Twisted Fate, Xpeke was able to push Kassadin up to the turret, making it so that he couldn't get a lot of the minion kills early on.
Yeah.
Morgana's even stronger at doing that. So we'll see if that strategy comes out. But Xpeke, with Morgana, is going to need to make sure that he doesn't get ganked early on, which should be relatively easy with Morgana, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, Morgana is a very safe champ in that sense. Ashe versus Urgot in the bottom. It's going to be pretty strong for Urgot probably early on. Ashe without a lot of escapability. You know, like we saw on Wednesday, Ashe versus Graves. I'm sorry, Urgot versus Graves. Graves was able to kind of dash out of the way. Ashe can't do anything like that. So Ashe is going to be in a lot of danger early on. But we're going to see how it goes. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2 and see if Fnatic can bring it to a tie. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Team Fnatic in the blue at the bottom left of the map this time. Looking to possibly invade. Team OP in the red in the top right is also looking to invade. They're both in the bush below the middle and above the middle for each other's lanes. And Team Fnatic charging right in here. Planting a ward, planting a vision ward, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be going extremely aggressive. We've got a Dorn's Blade on Urgot and a Dorn's Ring on Morgana, so a lot of really strong power for level 1.
Yeah.
But they got to actually find a team to fight to actually take advantage of that.
I like the Vision Ward, by the way. So often we see teams will ward their own jungle if they're going to go somewhere else, so they know if they're being invaded. So placing that Vision Ward, they know that there's no ward there. They know they haven't been spotted. So they're like, all right, well, they're not here. We're just going to go ahead and go back home, regroup around our own blue buff. We know they can't be coming for our blue, so they can be a little bit less cautious and have Urgot go bottom.
Yep, and Lemmy and Melisande are pinging their small golems, so they're going to try to grab those early on. Fortunately, Team OP is backing off to go to their own jungle, so there's not going to be any danger for Fnatic in that bottom jungle.
And Kennen, he's like, well, since I went back, I'm going to wait a little bit longer so I can get a 4th health pot before I go into my lane.
Yep. That'll give him a slight edge over Rumble. However, Rumble did get one of those wolf kills, so 1 extra kill for Rumble. Going to give him a little bit of extra experience and money before he goes to his lane. Meanwhile, Kennen gets spotted. Doesn't really mean a whole lot, but it lets Fnatic know exactly where Team OP is, and that they're not going to do any sort of strong invasion happening anytime soon.
Yep. And Rumble gives so much help to Cyanide that Cyanide actually able to keep his smite, which is going to be handy if he decides to do any kind of invasion. But he's going to actually go for a level 2 gank here. Up at top, he's going to go through the... No, actually, never mind. He's going for the red. He knows that Nautilus is a little bit slower of a jungler and probably needed to use his smite on the blue buff, which he did.
Not only that, but this is where those wards are coming into effect. He knows exactly where Nulja is. He's going to know when to go for red. He sees that Nulja is actually going back to the wolves and is able to come in here and try to steal the red before Nulja is able to say anything about it.
Yeah, he didn't see the exit location, but he should realize by now that he's not coming here. And now, yeah, there he goes. He's going to go in for the red. Nice move by Cyanide to steal that early up at the top. A lot of trading going on. Lilac getting the better of it, but...
Yeah, and that's going to go even more in favor of Lilac as this goes on. Both of them having to use a potion, but like you were saying before, Lilac was able to pick up that 1 extra potion early on. So as this goes further, it's going to go more and more in favor of Lilac.
Is he going to gank top now, try and get that Kennen? Looks like he might, but in the meantime, Nulja going in here. Heke looks like he was ready for it. Yes, no, they don't have a ward there, actually. I think he suspects he's there. Oh, Lilac going in to do a ward. Gets caught by Cyanide. Is he going to get the fear off? Not quite. Actually, I don't know if he even had the fear leash.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that Shushay was not in position to be able to capitalize on that as well. He's a little too far behind by his turrets. Lilac pushing up this lane really, really far. He's going to actually get it within turret range. Not exactly where Shushay wants it to be, but he's a little bit afraid right now. Only level 2 against Lilac's level 3. As soon as he clears this wave, he's going to even that experience disparity, though. Meanwhile, Morgana, because she's able to push up the lane so far, she can't do a lot of trades against Kassadin. So she is actually going to go and try to grab the raids from her own jungle to even that out a little bit.
Very cool, very cool. I'm seeing a little bit more trading up here at the top. And luckily, I mean, even though that gank didn't go down, he was able to force Kennen to use another health potion or two. So that is actually pretty good. It's going to enable Shushay to have a little bit better time in the lane and not just be dominated by a Kennen with more health, basically. Cyanide goes back and picks up a Vamp Scepter. He's going to have a little bit more sustainability in the jungle. Looks like Nocturne, Nautilus going in for another gank here. He's in behind. Is the spell shield going to go off? No, the silence goes off before the spell shield. There's the spell shield in the flash, though. And Xpeke able to get away there, but forced to flash out of Morgana.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Morgana. She is going to have to go back and most likely grab some wards to prevent that from happening in the future. But no, she is actually going to stay instead. Xpeke knows that Nautilus is going to head to his own jungle, at least momentarily. But Morgana is low on mana now, so not a good situation to be in against Kassadin.
Now Morgana's going back. Just wanted to get, I think, another Tormented Soil off to kill a few more minions before heading back. So
oh no! She actually bought double Boots of Speed by accident. That's a complete waste of gold.
Oh no!
Gonna have to sell those. That could have been some wards.
Oh, ouch. Is able to get those 2 Dorans though. So Morgana is going to come back to lane with kind of what you want to come back to lane with your first buy. Kassadin has not been able to get away to buy just yet, because if he does, then Morgana will just push his minions up against the tower.
Yep.
Oh, and actually, no. A little bit of damage on Corn Salad there in the middle. And bottom's just farming away happily. Shard keeping Paragon alive for the most part, despite Lamia's best efforts. And we're actually going to have Paragon go back, it looks like. Just a little surprised by that. He does have Summoner Heal. Could have stayed in the lane, but instead, oh, here we go. Corn Salad, the ult goes down from Xpeke. Is he going to escape? Yes, he does flash away from that. An excellent opportunity there when Xpeke had 6 and Corn Salad did not. But unable to capitalize.
That's really good for them to push up. Try to go for the kill. Most likely wasn't going to happen, but did force the flash out of Kassadin to even it up a little bit. Oh, Dark Binding actually going off on a minion, grabbing a little bit more gold, but not doing the damage to Kassadin. Morgana playing very safe, knowing that she doesn't have flash either. Doesn't want to get in any position that Nautilus can come up and get a good gank against her. Yeah. Meanwhile, Urgot and Lamia is left here alone as Janna went back to go by, couldn't even complete the Philosopher's Stone completely, but grabbing the wards to be able to stay a little safe. Sona going back, not able to get, or actually grabbing Boots of Speed instead of trying to go up for the Philosopher's Stone, and then also grabbing a Vision Ward to be able to clear the wards of Fnatic. We saw this happen against them earlier, where they tried to, ward their own bushes, but because of the Vision Ward in, the aggressive Vision Ward of Team OP, it is going to be able to be cleared very quickly, making it so that Cyanide can't do any sort of lane ganking, which means coming up from his own lane, getting into the bushes.
Oh, Lamia switching Paragon into the tower. Nocturne is there as well. Can he get... No, he doesn't have 6 yet, actually. He is going to flash in here and try and go for Paragon. This is the Fear going to get up. He gets the Fear up. Paragon walks away from safety. Is he going to be able to get back to tower, though? Oh, no. Everyone shows up for Team OP. Oh, no. And it's a complete turnaround. What looked like a 3v2 gank turns into a 4v3, and all 3 of them died. Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah, a little too aggressive by them. They needed to get the wards in the river before they did an aggressive gank like that. Pushing up way too far, especially with X.